A little while ago, my friend gave me a heads up about a Steam sale. A quick purchase later and a few fun hours were unexpectedly stolen from my night by an 8-year-old Ubisoft game. And I found this game and its photo mode to be beautiful yet baffling in implementation. Steep 2016 is a peculiar game. While watching the old E3 trailer, there's an emphasis towards the freedom of exploration. Such freedom certainly exists in the variety of ground and flight equipment available to the player. But the honeymoon phase wears off within hours, replaced by a maddening desire to hit gold medals on every time trial, race, and stunt run on every mountainside. My friends and I spent our first few hours barely touching upon the game's challenges, instead snapping pictures, coordinating runs down the slopes, and exploring the game's mechanics. I believe the first few hours of Steep we played were also the most fun we had. We were relaxed, exulted in frigid views, glided over fresh powder, but you spend enough time free-running random regions of each mountain before you realize just how barren most parts of the default map actually are. Many set pieces feel pointless to pause at, though they are worth appreciating for a brief moment. This provides the perfect opportunity to snap a quick pic. Fortunately, the freedom that the developers promised in the E3 trailer is reflected in the game's photo mode. All of your moments can be immortalized, utilizing the replays of your runs down a mountain to capture the perfect shots to share with your friends. And what better way to share these pictures, these exhilarating moments, than through a tiny camera icon that appears on the in-game map that doesn't save to any part of your player profile or a folder on your computer unless you also remember to hit the F12 key? Wait, what? In a perplexing manner, Ubisoft achieves the most unique implementation of a photo mode that I have witnessed maybe ever. Pictures taken by you, friends, and players are uploaded to Ubisoft servers and posted as camera icons on the map. Hovering over a camera icon shows that each photo is expandable and likable. This is the only way that your pictures can be viewed in-game. There's no collection of photos tied to your profile, no collection shown on a friend's profile, no shareable gallery for players in a separate session to view and like your pictures. Luckily, you can always hunt down your photos at a later time and use Steam's or your console's screenshot button to save them to a device. Unless, of course, you encounter the bug that I did, where for literal hours, the camera icons tied to all of my screenshots refused to show up on the in-game map until I restarted my game entirely. But why does any of this matter? To some of you, it might not matter, though I then question how you even made it this far into the video. Steep is, after all, a niche snow sports game with barely enough active players to populate my local mall. But for me, I love using photo mode features in video games. They act as a way to catalog your journey through a game and recall moments that might otherwise be lost to time. In my current playthrough of The Witcher 3, my collection of photos is vast. I enjoy reminiscing upon Geralt's adventures and his misadventures through the marshes of Velen and the Isles of Skellige. Even in Elden Ring, though it does not strictly have a photo mode, I have often disabled the HUD and taken countless screenshots using the in-game telescope item. From an accidental screenshot of my first Stardew Valley farm to the day I became Elden Lord, looking back upon moments in games with the picture can be a fun way to capture memories. Steep 2016 is, as they say, steeped in the classic and highly unfortunate features seen in modern Ubisoft games. Mainly, you are required to play online with an active internet connection and launch the game through Ubisoft Connect. If you have internet, you're out of luck, which obviously really sucks. From a developer standpoint, this at least partially justifies the existence of a photo mode that uploads your pictures to the Ubisoft servers and the in-game map. Unfortunately, this always online requirement probably scares off many prospective new players from even trying the game at all. If everything I've discussed so far wasn't strange enough already, it gets worse. What perplexes me most about Steep are the PC controls. If you hate yourself, like I apparently do, playing the game on keyboard and mouse might come with the same buggy experience that I had. Controls of the game were not displayed on screen until I messed around for many minutes and they eventually started to appear. You know, while writing the script for this video, I actually thought that maybe I'm just really dumb and I wasn't paying attention, so I looked up actual tutorial gameplay from a YouTube channel called Game Riot, and nope, the PC port just sucks. This guy who played on a controller had the game walk him through all the controls, widgets, and mechanics. Meanwhile, I face planted with the wingsuit repeatedly and then slid down a mountainside where at least the bottom right part of my screen told me how to reset my character. This side-by-side comparison is just so funny to me. My game shows the objective but not the controls. Game Riot's game shows both, so I guess I wasn't crazy. My game just refused to work. Anyways, now that I've got my dose of whinging out of the way, what do messy controls have to do with photo mode? It turns out the F5 5 key for photo mode is blocked from being accessed in the tutorial. Why is this? My guess is that the developers just wanted players to focus on completing the tutorial first, which is totally fair. Also, just to shoehorn in a detail I almost entirely forgot until I rediscovered it when scrubbing through my game clips, take this moment where I freeride in my banana costume down a snow course. I crash, and as I reset, I get a pop-up advertising a DLC I'm pretty sure I already own. Suffice it to say, I almost burst out laughing at the stupidity. Even funnier to me, within the hour that I'm typing all this up for the video, I saw this tweet about Steam updating its terms to prohibit ads that block gameplay. Take that, Ubisoft, and your shady pop-up that only occurred once in 20 hours of playing the game. Another thing I wanted to highlight lies within the confines of a certain medium difficulty challenge, and I'm gonna say medium in air quotes because this was hard as f. I dedicate this segment of the video to all of the immovable trees that I and my friends Ian and Eric wrapped ourselves around over the course of many hours. The Lumberjack Race challenge is so infuriating that it made me entirely forget any notion of taking screenshots with my friends. When we discovered the challenge's existence, obtaining a gold medal became the sole focus of our entire gameplay session.
This is so much fun. A challenge is that possible to do, huh? My banana's dancing.
The Lumberjack Race is so finicky with the character controls, so easy to miss checkpoints, so easy to spawn inside of other players and go flying, and leaves so little room for error that it not only derailed the course of our gameplay and shifted the fun away from taking cool pictures, but it also hijacked the very commentary of this video because the course was so frustrating I just had to talk about it. Anyways, we eventually beat it, but holy god. Of course, none of these issues I've discussed so far could overshadow the sheer enjoyment of zooming down a mountaintop at 5Gs with the boys and snapping a sick mid-air group shot. A realization that blew me away about Steam's map was when my friends and I landed on a hot air balloon thousands of feet in the sky. If you zoom in on your position to the maximum, you and all your friends' characters are actually rendered in, including any movements or actions they make. Regardless of the true nature behind the map's design, the way it seems to function is super impressive. Sadly, there are only so many pictures a person can take of their character doing tricks in front of a mountainside before the notion of variety is somewhat lost. That said, the photo mode has a solid quantity of presets for world ambience to break up the wintry backdrops. Altering weather conditions and time of day for varied lighting compositions can help players capture unique scenes and practice their photo composition skills. The one small issue I have, and I have to give this game the benefit of the doubt for being 8 years old, is there aren't the most amount of slider options for actually using photo mode and taking cool pictures. Like, it seems a lot of the features are embedded in the weather effects and ambient settings themselves, versus if you look at like Cyberpunk, Hogwarts, or Witcher 3, you might see a lot more features available for someone to use. The game has many towns, buildings, architecture, and settlements to take pictures in, but this also highlights a small problem that I mentioned earlier. There are little to no reasons to actually visit any of this. If you get caught in the cycle of grinding out every challenge to gold, you'll pass through many different towns in distinct areas, but in your restless attempts to repetitively 100% every region, you might teleport away from a cool spot before even considering snapping a picture with photo mode. None of the buildings in each town are interactable beyond acting as environmental obstacles or as opportunities for stunts. This isn't necessarily a bad thing unless you're like me and you want to stop halfway down the mountainside to like have a beer and then go down the rest of the way and ride the ski lift back up. You can't really do that in this game. Steep's focus is on creating cool moments through extreme sports, not stopping at the bar to have a beer. But this also does mean that small scale details made by the talented developers will probably get overlooked by most players as they speed through and on to the next challenge. Steep, being as old as it is, might be worth a generous sales price of around for around $7.50. You just need to ask yourself if you're willing to deal with a potentially buggy tutorial, Ubisoft Connect, somewhat repetitive challenges, and the odd implementation of photo mode, most of which are minor inconveniences, or in the case of the broken tutorial, likely some divine prank played on me by the universe. I'll end this video with my favorite activity to do in this game, even after over 20 hours of playtime: a relaxing free ride on a snowboard down a mountain peak. And remember, if you see something cool, take a picture. Thanks for watching.